Prater in the ball game, 5 o'clock. Spencer Danielson had kind of a season-ending press conference. Didn't need to, wasn't required. I thought it was a good gesture. He knows a lot of people are interested and have questions about what's going on in that building. And, he went to the podium like he does, like a man, gets up there and answered the questions today, Prater. And we've talked about this off the air a little bit, but I don't want to say he was super different today, but it was kind of a different Spencer Danielson. I don't really know how I can put my finger on it though, but maybe not like he's not always serious, but maybe a little more serious today. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. It was a little bit more edgy. I mean, I was, you knew a couple of questions were coming, and you were very curious as to how he would answer that. We had some things to clean up on the Cage Casey thing, and we're going to dive into that at 5:20, guys. And there was a little bit of news and a little bit of update coming out of what happened last week with Cage Casey. But mostly the conversation was about transfer portal. We started off with Ty Benefield earlier in the show based on a question you asked. Ty Benefield has put in his NFL paperwork and is spending the next couple of weeks with his family. He's got till January 11th when Boise State reports back and to figure out his future. But I think the writing on the wall is that Ty Benefield's gone, but maybe he's coming back. Spencer Danielson did give him a financial number to ponder over if he comes back, how much he's going to make. Ballgame, and I think that might be somewhere around $200,000-$400,000. Who knows how it is? But a lot of it was about transfer portals and retaining players and retaining coaches. But we all know Ballgame. Everybody wants to know what's going on with the quarterback.
Yeah, and I think it was you that asked the question as well, and we'll ask our listeners too what they think. Does Spencer Danielson's loyalty sometimes cloud decision-making?
My answer is yes.
And maybe
easily.
If you are going to have decision-making cloudy, or if you are going to go down, I mean, that's the lesser of all evils. Like, if I'm going to go down, at least I'm going down because I got a guy who's loyal and loyalty doesn't exist. I mean, can I even sell that as kind of a good thing?
Ballgame.
That might be his biggest fault, is that he's too loyal and he loves his players too much.
That happens at every workplace across this planet. And a lot of you people who are criticizing Maddux Madsen or criticizing Spencer Danielson,
They do it.
are dealing with this in the workplace. There's workplace loyalty all the time. I mean, when I was the editor at the Statesman, I would have defended my guys to the bitter death. Ballgame, anybody that you've worked with, you're going to defend to the bitter death.
Yeah.
Greg, as a budding boss, hopefully in the future he continues to no, I'm very serious. As a leader,
I hate you guys.
I don't care if you lead a bunch of cats or 108 football players. You have to be loyal. Now, it's okay to be loyal, and he's 1,000% loyal. But that's not a negative, guys. It's about what he does when he goes to work at 6 o'clock on a Monday morning and looks at the film. I love Maddux Madsen, but then you put on the film, he better have a clear mind. He better have clarity. He better have vision. He better have peers around him that talk about Maddux Madsen. And the way that I approached the question today, because frankly, this was a question that I was concerned about in terms of self-scouting. These guys self-scout everything. Does Spencer Danielson self-scout himself? Does he go to Zach Hill and say, do you think I'm too loyal to Maddux Madsen? Is there something I'm not seeing? He goes to Nate Potter, and they're all too close. So maybe he has a conversation with Chris Peterson. Maybe he has a conversation with Dirk Cutter. Am I too loyal? Is there things that I'm not seeing here? Those are the things that we addressed with Coach Spencer Danielson today.
One of the things that I would jump in here and say with the loyalty thing, I totally get your point about other places of work. And certainly in our line of work, it's very competitive. And, there might not just be radio station upon radio station lining up with openings for us to just jump in the radio station portal and go to. But I do think that in this climate of college athletics, particularly college football, if you are too loyal, you run the risk of just limiting your ceiling as a program, because there always are going to be more players available, whether it be in the transfer portal or, and I think that you risk the possibility of other players on your depth chart that you're not giving opportunities to because of your loyalty, then saying, hey, I'm out of here. I can go somewhere else and play. And so I think that that's a fine line that a college football coach has to walk in this climate. Is you want to be loyal to the players you have developed, but you also want to get the best out of your roster and bring in other players when it makes sense to bring in other players. And we've seen plenty of programs just decide to change a lot and be successful very quickly. So I think it's a tough kind of balancing act.
Craig, here's Spencer Danielson earlier today talking about Maddux Madsen and self-scouting to make sure that loyalty wouldn't get in the way of football decisions.
First off, I want to make sure I'm clear. I love and adore Maddux Madsen as a young man and as a part of this program, and he is going to be family to me for life. Absolutely. That's for every single player on our team. But I always put team first, people always. That's how I operate every decision. Team first, people always. Well, this person, no, it's all about what's best for the team. I think about it no different with our quarterbacks. Maddux Madsen is a competitor, and Maddux Madsen is a winner. A week and a half ago, he was wearing a crown on his head because he was the offensive player of the game in a Mountain West championship game where the field just got stormed. Let's not forget some of those things. Does Maddux have growth and needs to grow? And do we need to grow that entire? Absolutely. That room needs to grow. I believe it's going to. We're excited for it to. Excited to compete in spring. So I'm by no means sitting here saying it's perfect. We threw 5 interceptions in our bowl game. Can't happen. You can't beat Meridian High School if you throw 5 interceptions in a game. Have to improve, have to grow. I am very, very aware of that. I have the utmost respect for Maddux, and I know without a doubt that he is a winner, and we will win a lot of games with him. I also know that we need to grow, and we need to compete. So I'm having tons of conversations with our staff, with people I respect, with Maddux, with our quarterbacks on where we're at, where we're growing to, and that's something I'm going to continue to work through. But I do have the utmost respect for Maddux, not just because I love and care about him, which I do, but I got respect for him as a winner too. I got respect for him as a competitor too.
Ballgame, I don't have a problem with that answer. I just need to see it executed, and I'm not sure what's going to happen with the quarterback room in 2026. You're not going to get the transfer portal quarterback that I wanted at one time. I'm not sure I still do. He's certainly not going there. Lots of fans do, and I understand going there.
They don't have money to get a good one anyway.
I would agree with
I'm
that.
Looking at and people I've talked to.
Well, they have the money. They just decided not to spend it on a new kid.
Yeah.
They got $5 million plus. They could come up with $200,000-$300,000 for a quarterback. He's just choosing not to. Yeah. So Maddux Madsen absolutely needs to grow. At least he said that. We all know that. That's pretty obvious. Anybody can see that, including the head coach at Meridian High School. Nice shot there, Spencer Danielson.
Yeah, that's John Zamberlin, right? Is he still Zamberlin? No, I don't know if he's there anymore.
I have no idea.
Anywho, Spencer Danielson earlier today. Where does Maddux Madsen need to grow?
Well, first off, we got to make sure that he can stay healthy. He can stay healthy. And that's easier said than done because when Maddux is healthy and plays, he hasn't played a full game and lost to a conference opponent in his time. There's something for that. Now, do we need to find ways to be better and grow? Absolutely. Got to stay healthy. So we got to make sure his body, his strength, his explosiveness, and that's going to be a part of it. And then just continue to make good decisions with the football. A year ago, we were more successful offensively. Obviously, you had Ashton, but I think our running backs did a really good job this year. The 3 stats that I look at on our offensively that if we grow these, we will be much better. The turnovers were much higher than they were a year ago. The penalties were much higher than a year ago. And the sacks. Those 3 were much higher than they were a year ago. If we can if we can deplete those numbers, we're going to be much more successful offensively. And does Maddux have a part of that? He absolutely does. Does Max have a part of that? He absolutely does. Does our coaches? They absolutely do. But is it on one position? No. It's on us holistically. And I even look at the LA Bowl. I mean, we essentially had 3 offensive linemen out during that game against one of the better teams we've seen. And we didn't execute the way we needed to consistently. We didn't execute the right way at quarterback. We didn't. But we also didn't execute at a lot of other positions too. So we're looking at it holistically, Mike. And it is not loyalty for loyalty's sake. And that's something that I want guy like, it's team first here. I have a job to do here to make sure that the product we put on that field and how we grow and develop these kids is continuing to be on the rise. I understand that. I absolutely believe in our players and the guys that we put out there in 2026 are going to be ready. And I believe in Maddux Madsen. I know how he's going to grow and compete this season, and we need to. But that's not based on just my care for him as a young man. That's based on facts. That's based on research, and that's based on where I know he can be.
Maddux Madsen. I don't know what the fans think of this. You're hearing Spencer Danielson just a few hours talk to you about your quarterback. And I thought he did make a good point about Hey, 2 weeks ago, the dude had a crown on his head. The field was stormed, and he was the MVP of a Mountain West championship game. And, okay, it's just like that Madsen against that at that level works. And I think the problem with people have is, you're going to have to go to another level at some point in this landscape. And when you do, they're worried about the quarterback play there. Spencer Danielson also talked about Maddux Madsen throwing the ball, the passing game, his connection to the wide receiver room, and how much growth needs to happen there. All this in the passing game. Here's what Spencer Danielson said.
Well, holistically, it needs to grow. Like, and just even talking our pass game is going to be affected by our run game. So I want everyone to understand that we are going to be a team that is balanced. We are going to run the football, and off of your runs, there's play action and there's boots. Let's watch Washington. Washington, very similar offensively. Very similar. If you watch it case for case, dang near we're running the same place. Washington was just able to do it better because off their run game came the hard play actions. Off the run game came the boots. And then you have some drop back pass game. That's us too. And that's really, really successful when it's executed the right way. But if we can't establish a run game and a defense then can make us one-dimensional, and then we can't protect on a four-man rush, we can't maybe attack some of the different defense we're seeing in the pass game, it's a trickle-down effect, and then you end up turning the ball over because you're pressing. You're trying to make things happen instead of making your plays. That's where we're at offensively. So pass game-wise in particular, we absolutely need to grow in it. There needs to be much more detailed in regards to the concepts we run, the reads, how we're doing it, how we're attacking. And this is on both sides, players and coaches. And that's really what we're going through right now. To make sure that when we come back and we get into football in the spring, that we know who we are, we know we can do it better.
The passing game this year for Boise State, and I think if we said, okay, you're going to get somewhere along that level next year, I think the fan base is saying, no, please don't. They did throw for 245 yards on average this year, completing 58% of the passes. You'd want the percentage up, but I think the yards per game number is probably more than you would want, considering the rushing numbers that Spencer Danielson wants as a running team. But I just think it needs to look different. It needs to be prepped different. I mean, the stats at the end of the day, who knows when those are coming, what quarter, what the score is. This team played with big leads a lot this season. I think they were able to pad some stats on some of those big blowouts, Prater. I mean, I would say this, you are what you are, and I get that, but I don't think Boise State's passing attack was as good as maybe it indicates. 245 yards per game is pretty good.
Yeah, short, medium, middle, all that kind of stuff. It was just fine, but it's about chunk plays. It's about explosive plays. It's about extending the ball. Ever since Maddux Madsen's been the quarterback at Boise State, the wide receiver room has not been happy, and chunk plays, explosive plays have been at a medium, have been very much, at a minimum is what I tried to say there. When's the last time you saw Maddux Madsen just throw the ball downfield for 50 yards and just complete that perfect, beautiful pass that we see every night, every time we watch a football game? It just doesn't exist. That was a big emphasis for this football team in the offseason last year, to improve Maddux Madsen's passing game, vertical, stretch the field, and create chunk plays. He can throw the ball 10 yards to a Cam Bates who can run for 30, and all of a sudden you got your 245 yards a game, but you're not stretching the ball down the field. More importantly, here's the bigger part, and I think you nailed it with what you said.
They didn't go deep a lot, by the way, at all.
No, and here's what you said at the very end. It doesn't look very good, and it's not conducive to fans. That's not Spencer Danielson or Maddux Madsen's job, but that's part of a successful football offense, is being able to have those explosive plays, being able to throw the ball 40 yards downfield, get a wide receiver on the fly, and just exhilarate a crowd. That stuff isn't happening for the last 2 years with Boise State football.
Yeah, not happening anymore.
I think they also got to figure out the personnel. I mean, you got to get some more weapons to be able to get the ball down.
You got to get a wide receiver who wants to come here and play with that quarterback.
That's going to be tough to do. Spencer Danielson also addressed the Cage Casey situation. His call, why? Is this a new policy? You'll hear from Spencer Danielson when we come back. KTIK The Ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studio, this is Ticket Traffic.
The puck drops, the crowd roars, the